Okay, everyone, we've got some bits and pieces to cover today. We're hopefully going to assess you on what the work you do today. So hopefully you'll get it uploaded properly. Settling in task, if you've got the time and you can be bothered, we've got a crossword here, a word search, which you can have a look for all the things. I'm moving on, so if you're going to do it, pause. There we go. Right, so we're going to look at our design challenge today. And we would ordinarily be doing titles and things. And then the question, which we covered sort of last time, was what is iterative design? I'm going to look at that today as well. Our aims and objectives are to reflect upon what's meant by iterative design, to redesign an existing product in order to make it more effective using an iterative approach. And it's all about toothbrushes. Okay, iterative design. So we learned that iterative design was a process of reviewing and refining designs as you go forwards. So you review, design again, review, redesign, and you refine as you go, hopefully making them as best you can as you go through. So we're going to put that into practice today. We're going to use that iterative process where we kind of prototype and review and redesign to improve a product that already exists. So putting this into practice, so we're going to look at a toothbrush, and we're going to redesign it, and we're going to look at the function of the product to sort of give us a real starting point about what goes on with having to redesign a product. So what are the positives about a toothbrush? Just pick a toothbrush design, pick your toothbrush at home is absolutely fine. Work out what the good bits are that you'd want to keep that work effectively, and then work out what your negatives are. So again, exactly as we've done in previous design projects. So we want a kind of a good, bad, and improve sort of a couple of statements about an existing design. Okay, then you can write about that. I suggest you do today's work while we've got a worksheet for it. I suggest you do it on paper because you'll be doing some drawing and other stuff like that. And there's some examples of toothbrushes there if you need them. Okay, so now that we've looked at the pros and cons and a little preemptive thought about how to improve it, how can we make it better? Let's put that into words and write that down. What would you do to make it different so you are improving the way it works, improving the way you can use its functionality, maybe make it last longer or make it more comfortable, and then make a note of those on your sheet or on your page or whatever, and also justify. Try and explain why you think that would make it better. Okay, let's move on. The handle and the head. Okay, so there's two main elements that need a redesign, and sometimes it's a good way to split up our redesign into separate elements. And what you can do is you can change the two separate parts independently of each other to try and sort of really focus on how you might improve one part or another as you go through. So you're going to come up with a couple of designs for the head and the handle and sketch those down. There's some example sketches there. Now you can see that the designer at the top has kind of gone a bit outlandish, a bit crazy with their ideas. Actually sort of redesigning the handle from scratch, being a completely different shape, which is a good thing to do. It is ideal if you want to kind of really break the boundaries and change up and maybe have a product that sells more than others by actually having a complete rethink. It might not sell, it might not work properly, but being quite innovative and different can be a good starting point to kind of generate some buzz about a product. So what we call a unique selling point. Okay, so we talk about the aesthetics now. So aesthetics means what? It means the way something looks, the style that it uses, the color, the shape, the form. Okay, so will any of those changes affect the function? They might do. They might make it more difficult to hold if you change it drastically. So have a think about that, how that might affect it. But have a think about what style you might want to use, whether it's going to be chunky, whether it's going to be elegant and slim, or whatever. Okay, just have a little think and work that one through. Okay, now you're going to combine your most effective head and handle and combine them to come up with a final toothbrush design. Okay, you can draw it in 3D or in 2 views in 2D if you need to. Okay, so you can draw it 3D like the one on the top right hand side, or you can draw it in 2D, but you've got to do a side view and a top view, like an orthographic drawing that we covered in our workshop rotation before. Okay, now if you have the facilities to do this at home, you can prototype. So you can use an existing toothbrush, and you can put Play-Doh around it, or modeling clay or foam or whatever, or even just layer up bits of tape or whatever, just to change the way the handle feels to the shape that you were thinking, and then test it. Does it work as well as you're expecting? Is it kind of actually less comfortable than using a regular toothbrush? What happens if you were left-handed or right-handed? If you're other way around, is it still as comfortable? Have a think about that, and then evaluate. And then finally, now that we've done that, I want you to actually write down the evaluation. So kind of, did it work? Does it work as well? Are there bits you would keep? Are there bits you would do differently to make it better? And that is the first stages of an iterative design process, where you've had your idea, you've drawn it, then you've modeled it. So you've drawn it, evaluated it, modeled it, evaluated it, and you make consideration of those changes as you go through. So obviously we don't have books with us. Just make sure that work that you've done is photographed and then uploaded. And then your final toothbrush should be rendered and look really nice. Okay, so kind of a really nice drawing with the color showing the light and shade, as we did in year 8. Yeah, so obviously if you've made a model as well, take a photo of that and upload it, because that goes towards your grade that I'm going to give you for this piece of work. Okay, challenge: if you have the time to do it, you can then move on to modeling or designing a product, a toothbrush for someone who has a disability. So pick a disability and then work it through, see what you can do to make that product better for that user. Okay, so hopefully we've reflected what iterative design is, and then used the iterative process to design that toothbrush. That work must be handed in. Got to be able to give you some graded work. There's lots of people who aren't handing things in as much as they should be, or as well as they should be, a concerning number actually at the moment. So make sure that you do hand it in good time, please. And there's no home running.